Aloha! We're back at it again with Morpheus Reviews for Comics. This week we have The Dreaming number 3. So we have the characters introduced last week. They're on the cover with Cain and Abel. Brought them in. This is called The Glory. It's written by Simon Spurrier, illustrated by Bilquis Evely, colors by Matt Lopes, letters by Simon Bowland, cover by Jai Lee and Chung. Of course, created by Neil Gaiman, edited by Molly Mahan, associate editor Ahmed Dedio Turturro, assistant editor Maggie Howell, and executive editor Mark Doyle. Yeah, so last time we left off, Merv Pumpkinhead was talking to the man we see here on the cover, Judge Ezekiel Gallows, and Merv is hoping that Ezekiel Gallows, Judge Gallows, will restore some order back into the dreaming. So, judging by the cover here, we're gonna see if he's accomplishing this or what's going on. So, let's get into it. The Dreaming, number 3. The Glory. The circumstances by which Judge Ezekiel Gallows waxed and waned upon an untamed continent are known to but a few. The truth is that he was not created, but condensed, distilled, scalding and spitting from a sunset trend, a boogeyman fascination, in the many crucibles of the frontier. Men, after all, have long fostered fixations with the devils that haunt the marginalia of strife, be it the domination of wilderness or the subjugation of the other. Hence the judge's shadow extended along a great peristalsis of print. There is, you see, an office for one whose duties permit the commission of fresh mythologies. And in those days such sourness lay on his breast that it was his preoccupation to exercise this role in a particular pursuit, the perfection of nightmares. In this project, the Lord of the Dreaming did not want for inspiration. At Gainesville, 41 swung on the hearsay of prideful neighbors. At Saltville, 100 of the 5th were butchered to spite their wounds, while 300 slipped slow down bayonets beneath the white flags at Fort Pillow. And if any dared hope that the will to condemn might dim once the cannon fell dumb, that red horizon grounded all fancies. Roy Bean, Isaac Parker, and 1,000 nameless men, elected or hooded, all rich ichors for that strange lord's composite. The West never cared to distinguish fictions from factions, And in truth, the detail never much colored the true heart of the opus. Listen, new thing, listen now. It is no effort at all for one human to decide his notion of right is worth more than the life of another. Knowing this, living with this, living with each other, is the purest terror they know, and yet they barely feel it anymore. I intend that you remind them. So arose Judge Gallows, nightmare of the major arcana, whose gavel thundered in the dreams of the West for 50 years. Fetch the hemp! For 50 years. Dreamers shivered at his gaze, while around them friends and family denounced and spat and called out shrill for the rope. For 50 years, dreamers trembled at the cord and hood, with noose and sinew clenched against that gulf, oh Lord knows, that gulf underfoot, until the kick that all who sleep have felt, the kick on the cusp of waking, the kick which reminds even the strongest of souls how weak they truly are. I declare it again, Lucian. The pertinent thing to recall is that I seek solely to advise by consent. You may regard me an observer, no more.
Alright, so, dreaming number 3, The Glory, is good. Felt like there was action, some tension, a little suspense. Yeah, the story, it lasted a lot longer than last week with the first books of magic. A lot more dialogue, which is good. So Judge Gallows comes, and don't want to give too much away. He does talk to Merv and Lucian, and he just says, I'm here to observe and to assess the situation, and only by consent. And then, things happen. Interesting thing, side note, I don't think it's giving too much away. Cain and Abel are talking with each other, and in the last issue, I don't remember if it was the Dreaming or if it was in one of the House of Whispers. Cain pushes Abel down into the crack in the Dreaming, and then later he comes back and he said that it was like just nothing forever. And in this one, Cain keeps noticing Abel isn't stuttering anymore in the presence of Judge Gallows, and then at one point Cain starts stuttering. So that's kind of a cool side note about the presence of Judge Gallows and what kind of things he brings to the table. So one takeaway here is secrets don't stay secret forever. They always have a way of coming to the surface. And no matter how hard you try to hide them. So next issue is Eternity. As the dreaming steward, Lucian, wrestles with the slow decay of his mind, the realm of wonders slips into totalitarianism beneath the thunderous gavel of Judge Ezekiel Gallows. So, just want to note one more thing, because they have this illustration of the idea of next week. I can show you here. It's like Lucian hanging on to Dora there. It reminds me of the relationship in the TV show Lucifer, between Lucifer and the Detective Decker. They're not supposed to like each other, but then they kind of do. But they hide it, and they pretend like they don't for a long time. I don't know if you watch that. It's just, that's how it goes. And it feels like the same dynamic with Lucian when he's talking about Dora. He really sympathizes with her in this one scene in here. So, I won't give anything else away. If you like, please like the video. Next week, we'll have House of Whispers number 3, and if you want to see that, subscribe, hit the bell to get the notification when that comes. Comment below, let me know how you feel about this. Do you think I'm giving too many spoilers with these? Do you like the reading? How about the voices? Just give me some feedback. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Aloha.